Hi, good morning, and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 669, and we are here live in Southwest Florida in my studio today. There have been an awful lot of questions lately that I thought deserved a visit to my studio, so we will go over answering some of those questions today. If you are joining me live, please say hello. Let me know if you are crafting today. Let me know if you have questions for me. Hi Joe, hi Thea, hi Edna, hi Judy, good morning. Can you hear me okay in the studio? I'm guessing you probably can. Hi Pamela and Lily, Val, Thea, good morning Grace. Hi Sharon and Rita, Naomi. This is episode 669. Hi, Lorraine, Carrie, Edna, Bonnie, Constance, Marcia. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. Hi, Judy, Sunshine, Christine, Dave, Irene. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me live. I appreciate it very much. Oh, yes. Thank you, Naomi. It's Wednesday. Happy hump day. Thank you, Lily. Hi, Sandshell. I've been looking for this flower for the longest time, and I finally found it the other day. This is my favorite one to wear. It just has a little clippy on the back. I have a few of them that I love shared in my Amazon shop if you want a hair clip or flower clip for your hair as well. And I've done crochet patterns on making flower pins for your hair. This one's nice and easy. I leave it with my earrings and where I keep my earrings, and sometimes I prefer to wear a flower instead of earrings even. And now that someone gave me that great reminder that the hair, this is how I'm remembering it now. Just like when you're married, you wear your ring on your left hand because it's the same side as your heart. That's where you wear your flower if you're married too, on the left side. So now that I heard that, I think that I will more consistently remember to wear my flower on the right side since I'm not married. Thank you, Bonnie. I'm so glad that you enjoy my tutorials. I'm happy to share them. Hi, Luna and Pat. Is there a link to the top I have on? Kathy wants to know. This is a Lily Pulitzer dress, and it's called the Margot. It's a swing. It's a dress. It's a shorter dress, if you can see here, and it has this really cute tie in the back with tassels. I don't know if you can see this. Anyway, it's called the Margot, M-A-R-G-O-T. I do have one of them linked in my Amazon shop, and you can search for different prints from there. Once you look at one, I think it suggests other prints as well. So it is the Margot dress by Lily Pulitzer. Hi, Rennie. Thanks for joining live. Hopefully I didn't miss too many names while I was chatting. Thanks, Dave. I love bright front dresses too, prints and solids. Thank you, Lizzie. Hi, Simone. I curled my hair with hot rollers this morning. Not that you can tell, it's already gone straight, but there is a little volume because of it. So anyway, takes a little, I didn't do enough pre-prepping. I didn't put enough product in my hair for it to actually stay, so, but it's still a little bit of volume. Hi, Nora Sue. Good morning. Hi, Mariana. Oh, thanks, Lil. Thanks, Thea. A for effort. I'll take it. Oh, first thing I want to mention, I keep one of these in every room now. So I'm even keeping my nail files in my studio because when I'm making videos, which I've been making videos all week, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes, I keep one of my nail files in here. This is the new Create, Share, Inspire nail file. And as you can see, it's got a little daisy print on it that I actually drew before designing the nail files. If you received your kit, you did receive a nail file. If you love the nail file now that you have it, you can order more on my website. They're $1.99 each. Or if you're like me and like having nail files everywhere you are, you can get a 5-pack bundle for $7.99. They're in my shop, and you can catch up on all that savings there. If they do sell out. Remember to post your email address in that wait list so that if when they come back in stock, you can also be first to know when they come in. I know I've gotten a ton of really positive feedback about them already. I love them. I think they're great for everybody, men, women. They are the right grit for natural nails, so they will file your nails, but they won't, rough them up too much. It is the proper grit for for natural nails, and my nails snag easily, so for me it's really important to have smooth nails when I'm working with yarn, when I'm on camera, but also whenever I'm doing other things, because as soon as I do get a snag, I'm more likely to damage my nails if I don't fix it right away. So, hi Daisy. Thank you, Judy, for posting links. So Judy just posted a link for the single nail file that's $1.99, and you can also get a discount if you order a 5-pack bundle, and that's $7.99. So 20% off if you order 5. And like I said, there's been a lot of great feedback about it already, so you might want to catch them before they're gone. Dave says the file matches my dress. It matches my logo too, and yes, turquoise is definitely one of my signature colors. Yes, Luna, these would make fantastic gifts to add to a gift set that you would be doing for Christmas or the holidays. Absolutely. And they do come, I don't have the packaging right here, but they do come in a resealable sleeve. So it comes in a bag that you can open and close. So it does protect it from other things if you're going to keep it in a project bag. Like if you're going to keep this in with your yarn, it's protected in a sleeve. It won't actually touch, the grit won't touch your yarn. So that's great for if it's in your purse. It's great if it's in a yarn bag. And it's great for giving as a gift because it's already sealed up too. So yes, they're great for toes too. Absolutely, Dave. I do my own mani and pedi at home, and I file both my fingernails and toenails with the nail file. Let's see, where's I going to go from there? If anybody has any more questions, let me know. And like I said, Judy already posted links to both of those. And don't forget, if they sell out, put your name in the wait list email because it's the first way that you can get notified when something comes back. Rinny's making the Giselle with Be So Fine hydrangea. That sounds beautiful. I would love to see that. Please send me photos when you're done, whether you send them in the Create, Share, Inspire group on Facebook, or you can email them to Judy or me. Hi, Melissa. Good morning. Hi, Carmen. Good morning. Oh, speaking of which, Create, Share, Inspire group on Facebook is a private group, and it has a few minor rules to it if you are new to the group or you've been there a while maybe and forget what the rules are. I would just like to gently remind everybody to check out those few simple rules in the group. The reason rules are put in place in a group setting is to keep everybody comfortable and everybody feeling safe, right? And so although if you break a rule, you can think, oh, it's just one, it's just this. But the problem is once you have a bunch of people in a situation, once one person breaks a rule, it offends other people. So the rules are not outrageous. They're pretty simple and common sense. So I would just ask, if you are a member of that group and you are active in there, just pop over and read the rules real quick and just make sure that you're following the rules, because it makes it a much more pleasurable experience for everybody. So just wanted to mention that. Hi Kim, good morning. Hi Lizzie, good morning. All right, then I thought I would show you some progress on my baby blanket. Isn't that cute? You can really see the flower in the center, and then I'll be doing a flower border pretty soon here. In fact, pretty soon. I am definitely getting close to doing the border and excited about that because that will be so pretty and really tie it together. This is in Be So Baby yarn in colorway Birthday Cake, which has turquoise, yellow, and pink. So pretty and so cheerful. Wonderful for a baby. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about, unless I see any questions pop up real quick here. Hi Daisy, good morning. Oh, I have decided on the new Mystery Crochet Along project. It will start in September, the first week of September, and it will be launched later this week so that you will have an opportunity to download the pattern, find out what kind of supplies you'll need for it, and I have a name for it, and I have the type of project that I will be sharing for it. Does anybody want to make any guesses before I say it out loud? I'll wait a second and wait for everybody to guess. Oh, thanks, Judy. Yes, I will be talking about these two patterns in a few minutes too. This is the Fernanda top and this is the Giselle top, both crochet patterns in Be So Sporty yarn. Judy's posting links to those as well for those of you that are interested, and we'll be talking about that in a few minutes. But first, I wanted to announce a new mystery crochet along project that will start in September. And it's going to have lots of surprises. It's going to be either 3 or 4 weeks. I haven't decided yet, but you will definitely not know what's going on until the end, and that's exciting. Whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to kick the tripod. Okay, I'm seeing a guess for a dress, a shawl, a mask. Nope, those are not for this time. Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and say it. So the name of the Mystery Crochet Along project for September is going to be called Poppy, P-O-P-P-Y, and it is going to be a scarf. Now, you may say, wow, how can you do a scarf and make it a mystery? I can make it a mystery. So it's going to be something super fun, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun doing it with me. There'll be a section of the pattern released every week, and there will be a video tutorial that goes along with each of the sections. So you can check out, you can download the pattern and get your supplies later this week, and I will tell you what day I will tell you what day it is available. It'll be either tomorrow or Friday. I will release it in the pattern shop, and then you'll have plenty of time to order your yarn because we'll be starting the first week of it in September. So it'll be 2-3 weeks from now. So plenty of time to order your yarn and supplies. Okay, so that's the excitement that can't wait to share that with you. It's going to be so fun. Mine's done, and I'm working on the video. That's why I was saying I've been working on videos all week. Been working on the pattern charts and videos all week, and really there's going to be some great construction techniques and some great surprises along the way, and a great project for fall. And if you're looking for handmade gifts for holiday, also great. It's perfect project, perfect time, perfect mystery project. So I hope you can join me for that. Let's see, I'll wait and see if there's any questions. Pamela's working on the Cosmo bag. That's wonderful. Hi, Sandra. Yes, that's right, Dave. Okay, so next I wanted to work with this board here this morning. We're going to actually work on the board a couple times today, but we'll start with continuing on our conversation from yesterday. Someone was asking, where do you pin? How do you get started pinning when you're pinning out a shawl? And it depends on whether you're doing something that uses wires or if it doesn't use wires, but I'm going to show you my theory of using midpoints for pinning out a shawl if you're just pinning out manually. And so this would apply to any shape, but let's apply it to a triangle first. Actually, we could apply it to a square. Let's apply it to a square first. Okay. So let's say you're just blocking your swatch, right? So I'm going to make an X to mark where I will put my pins, okay? So when you start with a square, you're going to want to pin all 4 corners first. So we'll pin here, 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 and here. And then we pin at the midpoint. So what does midpoint mean? Midpoint means the point between 2 existing points. So the midpoint here would be here. And the midpoint here would be here. Midpoint here is there. Midpoint here is here, right? And if you were going to continue on with this, the midpoints would now be between these 2. Then between these 2, between these 2, these 2, between these 2, these 2, these 2, and these 2. So I'll go ahead and do that. And look at how evenly we've placed our pins now. And notice how I didn't pin along one side first. I always went to the opposite side as I was pinning too. That's how I get a nice even stretch, I don't know, pinning, whatever. So let's do that with the triangle shape now. Whoops. Let's pretend like this. Well, we got to put an X there anyway. So our first, so just like with the square, our pins start at the corners. So we're going to pin, and I usually do, well, let's see, do the 3 pins for the 3 corners. Then we're going to start with the midpoints. So the midpoint along the top is here. The midpoint along here is here. The midpoint along here is here. So we've now done our first set of midpoints. So now we need a midpoint from here to here, from here to here, here to here, here to here, here to here, and here to here. Okay, see how nice and even that looks? So now you would want to do midpoints, because obviously a shawl would be much bigger than this. So keep in mind that even though this is a reduced size, you'd be putting more pins in here. So let me show you how I do that. I would do a midpoint here, then here, 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 and look at how nice and even those spots are. I didn't have to measure with a tape measure, and even if you did sit there and try to go along in the circumference with the tape measure, you'd still end up not being perfectly marked. There's something about working in midpoints and working in opposites that really helps everything to stay balanced. So I feel like I get a much more symmetrical shape when I do it in midpoints like that. So that's why I really wanted to show you on the paper today, because even though I did all that yesterday, it made sense to me, but I know that visually it's a lot more understandable to write that down. So let's see if anybody has any questions, or if that made sense to you, let me know that as well. So I will wait and check out the comments for a minute here. How would you do scallops? The same way. You would want to do them. Okay. You would do them the same way. It's just you would be you wouldn't be doing as many in between the scallops, but you'd be doing them the exact same way. So let's say because your shawl is not going to look scalloped at first, it will just become scalloped as you pull them out. So let's say we would start at the 3 corners, then we'd start at the midpoints. When you pulled that, it would pull out a scallop there, right? So then you stick with the midpoints, and that would pull out a scallop. And you would keep going with the midpoint. So it depends on the stitch pattern if it has something to pull out. If it has something to pull out, then it will. And if it doesn't have something to pull out and you keep your edges nice and tight, then it won't. And if you're having trouble with something scalloping that's not supposed to scallop, that's when you really need help getting straight lines, and that's when you would want to use wires. You could also use wires for a scalloped edge, and then you would only weave the wire through the points of the scallops too. So either way that works. Oh, thanks, Dave. Naomi's blocking her Giada today. That's awesome. Rennie says she understands blocking better now. That's great. Hopefully that helped answer your question, Lorraine. Does anybody else have any other questions about that? Sandshell says very helpful. Good, I'm glad. I'll wait see if there's anything else, and then we'll move on. Because we're going to talk about these. Make sure they're in camera well. I want to be able to see both of them. Let's see. How would you do a semicircle shawl? The same way, but if you need to see the example, we can do it. Maybe it'll help drive it home a little better. So let's say you're doing a half circle. You're going to do it exactly the same way. You're going to start with your midpoints. If it helps, north, south, east, west, right? You're going to do north, south, east, west, and then you're going to pick your midpoints. So your midpoints would be here, and here, here, and here. And then you'd pick midpoints in between all of those and go to opposites as you do it. So we've got one here, 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 and here. If you're having trouble keeping this straight line, you add a blocking wire. If you're wanting to accentuate a scallop along here, you would put the pins only in the scallops, or maybe, let's say, let me show you a scalloped edge real quick. So let's say this is a scalloped edge of your shawl. Okay, now if you put a pin only at the tips, it'll bring it to a very sharp point, like a tooth, right? Like a shark tooth. If you want it to be more rounded, you may end up having to do 3 pins at that corner. And that will widen the point and make it more rounded. Does that make sense? Thanks, Lizzie. See, someone says Bonnie's question is good, and I don't know what Bonnie's question. Oh, Bonnie asked for the half circle. Okay. That dress is beautiful. Do you have a tutorial for the dress? I'm guessing you mean this one, and yes, that is called the Giselle crochet pattern. You can find the pattern on my website, and it does come with a 4-part video series, and actually comes with an 8-part video series, a 4-part video series in right hand, and you can also make it in all 4 videos is in left hand as well. The one in the back is a pattern that is not released yet. It's going to be called the Margot top and dress, and it won't be out till maybe next week or the week after that. Let's see. I'm looking for more questions. Okay, so I'll wait 1 second here, or a couple seconds here, to see if there's any more questions. Hi, Renee. Because we could probably talk about this the whole time. We may not even get to the conversation about these, but we could probably do that tomorrow. We could stay in the studio tomorrow and go over those, because this is going to be way more lengthy than I realized. I get questions an awful lot, especially in YouTube video comments, saying, I really like this pattern, but how can I but I want to manipulate it or, modify it for X, Y, and Z. How do I do that? Well, a lot of those questions are way too complicated for a YouTube comment, and really too complicated for a designer to just tell you how to change the pattern. You're asking for a completely different pattern, right? So, and what goes into making a pattern is extremely complicated, and there's a lot to it that goes on behind the scenes. And so although I understand the desire to want to change things up, or like someone say, I like this one, I want to make this, but I want it to look like this. So I want components of this, but I want to add components of that to it as well. How do I do that? And so when that comes up as a comment on social media, it's absolutely impossible to answer that in a comment. So because I've gotten a few comments recently on these 2 patterns that happen to be new, I wanted to see if maybe doing a demo on paper would help you understand why some things don't convert to one or the other, why they are uniquely different patterns, and some things that may be able to convert from one to the other, and just do a quick compare and contrast between the 2 patterns. And maybe some light bulbs will go off, maybe it will answer some questions, and maybe it will inspire some people to want to combine the 2 patterns. So I will probably do that tomorrow, though, because we only have 5 minutes, and there's no way that we can get to all of that in 5 minutes. So if anybody has any other questions about blocking, we could maybe do another shape here. Does anybody have another shape they want to see? how you would pin out. And keep in mind, I don't know if I said it loud enough or clear enough, but it is okay to combine wires and non-wires when you are blocking something. You can absolutely put a wire along the top edge and not put wires along the bottom edge. If you want something to be more curved and you want something else to be straight, that's fine too. Oh, thanks, Dave. Well, you can always watch all of the podcasts in recorded video version too. Chantel just received her book. Wonderful. And anytime you want to comment on the videos too, Dave, we can still see you there as well, and I can reply to anything. Hi, Rebecca. Good morning. I see someone asking about mentioning the Mandy top, but I don't know what you're asking about it. But if you could explain that a little more or ask me a question, I'd be happy to answer if I can. Christine wants to know, she's doing hairpin lace motif. Would I block the motif, then do the body? I don't know what you mean by the body. Are you combining a strip to another type of project, or are you talking about blocking the strips before joining them together? I don't know what you mean by body. Rinny wants to know about blocking the Mandy top. Okay, well, blocking tops is doesn't necessarily need pins. Most of the time, assuming that you blocked your gauge swatch and you know how your stitch pattern is going to be affected by water, you know what the finished shape size is going to be for your gauge. When you wash and block a sweater, most of the time, obviously there's exceptions to everything, most of the time you're going to do it just like your mom and your grandma blocked their cashmere sweaters for when you were a kid, right? They hand wash it, rinse, squeeze out excess water and lay it flat to dry and shape it. You're going to manipulate the edges to make sure that it achieves the same shape as the schematic that is in the pattern. That's one of the reasons why I make detailed schematics in my patterns. That's so you can see what shape you need your sweater to be shaped into as it's laying flat to dry. You know, occasionally if you had a dress form, you could put them on here, but I find that sweaters are perfectly fine for drying flat. There's a couple of tricks to it. You want to put them over a dry towel because the moisture from the top will absorb into a towel, and you want to have circulating air over them. Circulating air, whether it's from a ceiling fan or an oscillating floor fan, will help speed up the drying time. And because a sweater is 2 layers, you could always flip it over too, so that you're getting that circulating air from the fans, and as that side dries a little bit, you would want to pick it up, pull out the towel, put another fresh towel down and flip it over, and that will really speed up your drying time for a sweater. So hopefully that answers your question about not only blocking the Mandy top, but blocking any top. Okay, Christine has already joined the hairpin lace strip and now making the body of a top. Well, since you've already joined them, I don't know what to say about that. But if you're unsure about how big things are, you really need to do a gauge swatch of each component, especially since you're combining different techniques. You need to know how big that hairpin lace strip is going to get after it reacts with water, same as the body. So if you're combining different things and you're making a garment, anytime you're making a garment, you really need to know what your gauge after blocking is, because it's something that's a wearable and it will get washed throughout its lifetime. So you need to know how it reacts to water. So blocking the hairpin lace strip swatch, blocking your body swatch, making sure you like the way the two line up, and also knowing how to space out the joining of them. Then when you do make your pieces, you'll have a better idea of where to join them together, so that after they do block, one hasn't stretched more than the other, and then you have puckering or ruffling. If you know what your gauge is post blocking before you get started, you'll have much better success at figuring out where to join them and how to ease the two fabrics together, so that when it's done, it will lay as smoothly as you wanted it to, whether you desired ruffles or you desired a flat join. So there's a lot of components to that. So knowing your gauge up front will allow you to choose whether it's going to ruffle or pucker or lay flat. And all of that is determined by your design aesthetic. Did I block the squares for the Cosmo bag before putting them together? No, I didn't. Well, I didn't block my finished ones. I knew what my gauge was going to be from making one, right? Although a bag, it's definitely not necessary to do a gauge swatch on a bag because size is not critical for a bag. You have options when you're making things where size is not critical, but when you're making fitted garments, it is absolutely critical to know what size your gauge is to make sure that you're making the right size garment. But if you're making a bag or something else, it's not necessary. But to answer your question more specifically, when you're making a bag that's made out of motifs, you don't need to block the motifs individually if you're not having any trouble figuring out where to place your joins, okay? Now, when you're making motifs and you're joining as you go, it's not difficult. If it's difficult to figure out where to join them, then block them first. If it's not, then it's not necessary. I hope that helps because that's another reason for blocking something where gauge is not critical, and that's to see your work better. So like if you're doing something, you know, loosey-goosey so that it ends up being, yeah, Judy, if you're looking to, that's another point. If you're looking to use a specific amount of yarn, then yes, a gauge swatch is also really important for that as well. If a pattern calls for a certain amount of yarn and you want to make something with that certain amount of yarn and you don't do a gauge swatch and you end up making it a lot looser, you will end up needing more yarn as well. And if you make something a lot tighter than what's called for in the pattern, you'll end up using less yarn. Is that true? No. It affects it. And it also affects the finished size. So if you're actually wanting, oh, I like that bag, but I want it to be exactly that size, then it goes back to, oh, size is critical again. And so, or that look is important to me again. I want it to have that same amount of drape or that same amount of laciness. Then gauge, it becomes critical again. And if you just do a gauge swatch every time and get into the habit of it, then you'll actually have a lot more success in all your patterns. Nora Sue, would I say that Fernanda and Giselle are both beginner-friendly projects? Absolutely. This one, they're both super simple. And, you know, there's a couple of maybe advanced beginner techniques in both of them, but between the written instructions and the charts and the video tutorials, I don't think these are either of these projects are things that a beginner couldn't do. You know, not like your first project, but maybe your third or fourth project, yes. You can learn anything you set your mind to, because learning is just about following directions. If you're open-minded and you can follow directions, you can do anything, including a difficult experience level project. So having said that, these are not difficult, but it depends on how open-minded and willing to learn you are. Because if you are, I have multiple styles of teaching for each of these, whether you like to follow written instructions, charts, or you like hearing me speak the written instructions while showing you with my hands. There's all sorts of ways to learn in my patterns, and yes, you could definitely do it if you wanted to. Oh, good, Pamela. That's great. The new gauge kit's the new gauge ruler that she got in the new toolkit's going to make it easier for her to do gauge swatches. That's wonderful, because there's no question you'll have better success in your projects if you get in the habit of making a gauge swatch and blocking it. You're making wearables, we're making things that will need to be washed over time. It's imperative to know how your projects will react with water. Okay. Yay, wonderful. Everyone seems happy with what they learned this morning. Great. Well, if you end up having other questions about talking about gauge or talking about blocking, you want to come back to this video later in the day, you can always pop your questions in the comments there. I get notified from those. I get notified of those throughout the day. And if you're one of the many people that watch the podcast recorded, not live, and you want to be part of this discussion, please always feel welcome to leave your comments there as well, because I do get notified and reply to those comments throughout the day. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please click that red bell button in the corner, and there's a bell button right next to it if you want to be notified every time I go live or upload a new video. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes with me. I hope you enjoyed all of the tutorials and demos. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.